Mr. President, today I want to speak about a young man from Corbin, Kentucky, who gave his life in service to our country. Lance Corporal Timothy Matthew Jackson, a United States Marine, was tragically killed while conducting combat operations in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, on September the 30th, 2010. He was 22 years old. Lance Corporal Jackson was deployed with the 2nd Battalion, 9th Marine Regiment, 2nd Marine Division, 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force, Fox Company, based out of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. For his heroic service, he received many awards, medals, and decorations, including the Purple Heart, the Combat Action Ribbon, the Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, 3 Sea Service Deployment Ribbons, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal, 2 Iraq Campaign Medals, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the National Defense Service Medal. Lance Corporal Jackson, who went by his middle name Matt, attended Corbin Elementary School, Corbin Middle School, and Corbin High School, where he graduated in the class of 2007. Many who knew Matt in school knew of his desire to serve in the military after graduation. He was an enthusiastic participant in his school's Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. All he ever wanted to do when he graduated was join the Marines and serve his country, and that's what he did, says Colonel Rick McClure, Matt's senior instructor in Corbin High's JROTC program. Matt was an outstanding young man. He was quiet, always had just a smile, just a super young man, Colonel McClure says. And as long as I knew him, what he wanted to do was to graduate from high school and be a Marine. I'm just so thankful that we have guys like Matt that will go and give their lives for the freedoms we enjoy. Matt's wife, Nikki, remembers the surprising way Matt asked her to marry him. It was on Christmas Eve. Matt and Nikki were with family opening presents. One present was addressed to both of them, and Matt opened it to reveal a Cracker Jack box. He handed it to me, and he said, "Open it," Nikki says. When I did, everyone's hand shot for some, and by the time I could pour some in my hand, it was crumbs. There fell the ring in my hand, and I looked at him, and he was down on one knee and asked me to marry him. Of course, I said yes. Matt and Nikki were married on May the 22nd, 2009. For Matt's mom, Jody Tonkin, it's too hard to pick just one memory of her son. I don't have just one, she says. As his mom, all of my memories are the best. Matt's aunt, Teresa Jackson Hopkins, remembers when Matt was a little boy and went on a trip to Disney World. He had a smile on his face the whole time, she says. That had to be the highlight of his life until he met Nikki. Matt worked hard to prepare himself for the service and joined the Marine Corps right after high school. In 2008, he was deployed to Iraq. He also served on missions in Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Cuba. After his military service concluded, he was looking forward to a career in law enforcement. Matt's uncle, Tom Jackson, remembers the day Matt came home from Afghanistan for a hero's funeral. At the terminal of the London Corbin Airport, waiting to meet the plane carrying Matt's body, were over 100 Patriot Guard riders with American flags on their motorcycles, there to escort the fallen Marine to the funeral home. As we followed the hearse from the airport, the riders slowed, and there beside the road was a small group of men, women, and children waving flags as tears ran down their faces. I could read their lips, said Tom Jackson, saying thank you. And at that point in time, there was an outburst of emotion that I just could not contain. I was crying like a baby, a sight that I'm sure my daughter and grandson had never seen from me. The number of people who wish to thank Lance Corporal Jackson for his service was so great that the funeral home chapel could not accommodate them all. The city of Corbin graciously donated the use of the arena at the Southeastern Kentucky Ag and Expo complex, where hundreds came to pay their respects. Mr. President, we must keep Matt's friends and family in our thoughts as I recount his story for the Senate today. We're thinking of his wife, Nicole A. Jackson, his father, Timothy Wayne Jackson, his mother, Jody Tonkin, his brothers, Jericho Tonkin, Barry Daniel Powell, Dustin Johnson, and Wayne Sperlin, his stepmother, Laurie Johnson, his stepfather, Billy Bowers, his grandmothers, Mary Jackson and Carol Gable, his uncle, Tom Jackson, his cousin, Michael Ryan Hopkins, his aunt, Teresa Jackson Hopkins, and many other beloved family members and friends. Matt was preceded in death by his grandfather, Edgar Jackson. Matt's Uncle Tom can still recall a time when he and a 9-year-old Matt were walking in the woods after dark, and Tom feared they were lost. Matt was scared, but put on a brave face until the end, when he finally said, "Uncle Tom, hold my hand," just as the two of them reached the truck. The family of Lance Corporal Timothy Matthew Jackson must be very proud of that little boy who grew up to become one of our country's most honored heroes, a brave Marine. I want them to know this United States Senate honors Lance Corporal Jackson for his life of service, and we honor the immense sacrifice he made on behalf of a grateful nation. Mr. President, I yield the floor.